Hey guys, welcome back to another weekly watch list where we go over all the given earnings, news, reports, levels, gaps, what we're looking at going into the week, intraday, scalp alike, and how we're looking at to approach this week, what's the given bias, sentiment, and how we're looking to approach based off the market structure. So starting off of the typical earnings reports here. This week, nothing insanely significant, but we do have some points to be made. Super micro after close, SMCI. We don't touch this very often, and it may not be anything. But it's something to just be looking out at potentially on Tuesday or Wednesday off of open. AMD as well after close on Tuesday. ARM, it's ARM, right? But something we've seen in the past with news plays, with earnings plays, something to be aware of. CVNA, Carvana, again, something like that, but I'm not going to be too significantly affected. Shopify, in the same boat as Carvana, ARM kind of. And then Coinbase, going to be one of the ones I do look at. AFARM, Affirm. Also going to be an interesting one. The only two out of these I would take really serious would definitely be Coin or Affirm, AFRM. Okay. So we do have quite a few earnings this week. Not one of those small, short weeks where I usually just go right over it. Something to be aware of every day this week to look at. Okay. Going to the calendar this week, we do have a pretty small amount of news, but every news is important. Now, this is going to be basically FOMC week. Okay. This is FOMC week. We got to be aware of this. So starting on Monday, 9:45 a.m., USD Final Services PMI, 10 a.m., ISM Services PMI, and then tentative USD Loan Officer Survey. Tuesday, Trade Balance, 8:30 a.m., tentative RCM and TIPP Economic Optimism, 1:01 p.m., 10-year bond auction, and then 4:30 p.m., API Weekly Statistical Bulletin. On Wednesday, we have at 10:30 a.m., crude oil inventories, 2 p.m., we have federal funds rate, FOMC statement, 2:30 p.m., we have FOMC member press conference, and then at 3 p.m. we have consumer credit. At 8:30 a.m. we have unemployment claims, prelim non-farm productivity, and then prelim unit labor costs. 10 a.m. we have final wholesale inventories, natural gas shortage, and then 30-year bond action at 1:01. Going to be some significant news here on Friday, but it's going to be 6:15 FOMC member Williams, 6:45 FOMC member Barr, 8:30 a.m. Kugler, 10 a.m. Goolsbee, 11:30 a.m. Waller and Williams, and then 7:45 close. Doesn't even matter, but Cook, Hammock, and Muswell. But quite a bit of significant news, not a significant amount of news overall. So it's going to be your overall news and earnings this week going into the actual market here. Definitely upside biased, no question about that. If we go ahead and look here, we can just see that overall the structure is structured up here to be pretty wide body on the our EMA separation, our EMA divergence, the difference on them, pretty wide to the upside. Continuation looking really prevalent, but we are starting to get a bit of a wide open spread here, right? We're getting a bit of a overexhaustion setup here, so looking at this for potential reversal from downside to upside through the level there at the 490 range, okay? So at that point, then looking for continuation, but we do need to see a little bit of alleviation here. We have that 485 reversal set up, obviously, off of Friday, which is pretty beautiful. We're going to look to see what we get here off of open in the Monday morning as well. This is a great level support. So QQQ looking at upside with a support level and the entry through the 490 level as a reversal play intraday. Very beautiful setup here off the FEG structure. Going into the market ES, it's going to be the same. It doesn't really matter covering ES too much. It's essentially based, along with NASDAQ and QQ. So I'm not going to really cover this too much. All you need to know, upside bias, upside levels. Okay, boom, there you go. 57.25, 57.24, 75, 56, 73, 30. Okay, so again, we have very similar structure and exactly the same MA development structure here as well. So that's all you really need to understand there. Apple, I don't like anything. AMD, Coin, I already went over all this with my close group, my mentor students. Everybody, we discuss this every Sunday night at 8:30 together as a collective group. Google, again, nothing really I like on this until maybe 165, and even then we do have an inverse fair value gap there at that level, so it's going to be something to be aware of. And we are overall still in a gap range here. This is the only thing we have left right here is the, not inverse fair value. This is an actual fair value gap we have already crossed through and filled majority of. So this is going to be a level of range of resistance here to be aware of and keep an eye on. Highest quality setup of the day this week, along with the QQQ setup I have, is going to be Meta. I do like Meta here, and I only like this though as a support respect level. So this is already setting up with an overextension move here, overexhaustion. We always get overexhaustions, we get reversals. We get this overexhaustion, we get a reversal. If we go down to the 1 hour, this is where it's going to show really clear. Overextension, reversal, right? Overextension, we're setting up for a reversal here. So we're already getting the sell-off, maybe even down to 585. I'm going to be looking for not as a scalp, but as an intraday reversal play through the upside, along with potentially taking a QQQ setup as well with this to the upside. So it's going to be interesting because this falls directly along with the market. So you can really kind of catch two moves at once here if you play this smart with the right sizing on intraday sizing, with what I would be in as a quarter position sizing versus a scalp at higher sizing. It's to be logical with your risk assessment and how to manage losses and wins alike and keep them equal across any trading strategy. So meta is going to be the reversal upside. Okay, so looking at the 590 reversal potentially in tomorrow morning at the 585 area. Okay, it's going to be depending on how these MAs close, because if we have a close and a crossover, that's going to give you the confirmation. So Microsoft, I don't really have anything here till 440. I want to see a bit of a sell-off continuation, maybe even a crossover, or at least a joint chip, and just see basically how this ends up doing what it does. Maybe even selling all the way down would be nice to see below 430, and just really get that sell side to ask to alleviate its kind of pressure it has here on the bid and the share overall on the equities. Let those market movers do their thing, clear out liquidity, sweep it up, and let us come in here and catch a nice bounce play, or maybe even just a quick scalp through the 440 level on that one. Looking at the next setup, I do like Netflix, but it's in that type of style where it's a market neutral share, obviously market neutral equity. Look at the level 1160 level here. I like 1160 because of the way this is structured up. We just keep hitting new highs. We have this with this stock where it goes on a big run up after earnings always, and then it has the big reversal kind of sell off. So you get your nice run ups here, right? Same exact structure, almost identical, and then you get the sell off and consolidation for a while. So that's exactly what I'm already expecting this to happen. Gives back a good amount, stays up on the share value overall percentage-wise long term, and then we go back to upside, right? It's almost like scripted. So that's just how it goes with Netflix. So looking at upside potential here, only strictly 1160 with the equal highs at 1156.49 as entry for this as basically a scalp. Tesla, I don't have anything yet. I just want to make a point of that anybody that loves Tesla and is Tesla, for life, this is just not got anything set up. We're in consistent consolidation, back and forth on the MAs, indecisiveness on where we want direction-wise. And we're also just in kind of a poor range. We're ranging here. You can see my level of the key levels here. I don't have volume profile up, but it's hyper dense right here in this range at the new 290 level. So I'm really not interested until the 295 level, unless this has a nice structured development down below into 285 for reversals to upside. But that's all I'm looking at, because upside's the bias this week as of right now. And so I'm looking at this as like a 285 bounce through upside to 295, and that's kind of how I'm looking to take it this week, absolutely. So depending on how it structures up, but that's definitely how I'm looking at it. PLTR going to be the last setup this week, 126.67. That's strictly a scalp. Again, I think this might break obviously into the morning here because of how strong this is. The wider the MA difference here is getting, obviously the stronger the bias of that said bias. But also conversely to that, it is stronger, but it is now more overextended and overexhausted. So we're getting a wider difference, we're getting a wider support, but we're getting all the green flags so far. Consistent support. Overall, higher highs, higher lows, and when we do hit a new low, we reverse extremely strong, straight through our major red to a green candle upside. So there's all the variables to upside screaming here on this given setup. There's no red flags at all. So upside 126.67 into the 127 level, straight up through into the 130 level. That's going to be what I'm looking at this week on PLTR. Okay. So it's going to be a pretty clean week, I think. We got a lot of clean structure going into this, and love the market this week. QQQ has given us some really nice clean approaches and how it's structuring up. Definitely my major favoritism here, I guess you could say, on what it's approaching like and how it's moving like. We're getting that a nice alleviation here down below 485. So excited to see what we get. So that's going to be everything this week, guys. I appreciate you guys watching. As always, give me a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know any suggestions, and offer mentorship. Join up with the group. Join up with the team. We got all the boys in there. If you want to hit me up and learn how to be profitable like we do with real trading strategy, real risk management, assessment, and discipline, and emotional control, and learn how to be a consistently profitable trader and make money you never thought you could. Clicking buttons. So I'll see you guys next week. Shoot me a DM if you want about it, and I'll holler at you later. Let's kill it. Stay profitable.